On Impact Point, we talk about how the actions of those who are leading us affect our lives. On this program, we also talk about how the actions of those that are being led affect the polity. Two things we're going to be talking about on the program this afternoon. We're going to be looking at the federal government of Nigeria's response to the ravaging coronavirus, and we're going to be looking at the crisis that is rocking the ruling All Progressives Congress. Now, Nigerians were taken aback when the federal government says it has no plans to impose travel restrictions on visitors from countries where coronavirus continues to spread rapidly. Nigeria has decided to screen visitors entering the country from China, where the disease originated from last year, and other countries like Japan, Iran, Italy, Germany, France, South Korea, and Spain. It's no longer news that as at now, some countries of the world, even the developed ones, are finding means to curb the spread of this virus. But what we have from the federal government is the fact that it's not going to stop or restrict visitors from countries where coronavirus continues to spread rapidly. What the country has done, or what it has chosen to do, is that it's going to be screening visitors entering the country. But a senator, Adeleye from Ondo North Senatorial District, traveled abroad. Of course, you may say he traveled, to a country on the continent of Africa. But of course, he had cause to travel outside Nigeria. And when he came back, he briefed his colleagues at plenary. Listen to what he said at that time. Because what the federal government has chosen to do is to screen visitors entering the country. But let's hear the testimony of this senator. Was this screened? Were others that came into the country with him at that time, were they also screened? Listen to Adeleye, the deputy senate leader.
Allowed to leave the aircraft for good 30 minutes. Officers of the medical corps of the South African Army came into the aircraft and screened everybody before we were allowed out of the aircraft. When I arrived yesterday at the Nnamdi Azikiwe airport, there was no screening. All we were given is a sheet of paper to indicate whether we were sick, whether we had been from one country or the other, and how we were contacted in emergency. When are you contracted in emergency? How do you train me? How do you know whether I fall sick after I left the airport? So this is very frightening, Mr. President and the Senate and senators. Very frightening. And I think something has to be done to ensure that we do not give way to a situation which will not be able to control.
Adeleye is there, the deputy senate leader. Now, talking about what he saw when he came into the country, when he landed at the international Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja. And so that particular statement coming from Adeleye, a member of the APC, is an indictment on the measures that the federal government claims to have put in place, at our airport. But the update is that a new case of coronavirus has been detected. The Lagos State Commissioner for Health, Professor Akin Abayomi, today said that the new case of coronavirus came in through British Airways. Now, there have been reports that Nigeria has recorded another case of COVID-19 in Lagos State. The affected person is a 30-year-old Nigerian lady who returned from the United Kingdom on March 13th. The Ministry of Health said she is now at a general hospital receiving treatment. That's in Lagos State. But countries of the world are doing all they can to prevent a possible spread of this coronavirus. Let's look at what Ghana, a neighboring country, let's look at what it is doing to forestall a possible spread. Let's look at what Nigeria is doing. Take a listen to Ghanaian President Nana Akufo-Addo.
Equivalent of 100 million United States dollars to enhance our coronavirus preparedness and
Kini
responsible.
initial, you know.
That is to fund the
Kini initial.
expansion of infrastructure,
A4.
purchase of materials and equipment,
Adeleye.
and public education. I have,
Okay,
as
I
of
know.
yesterday, ordered the suspension of all international travel by public officials, except for critical assignments, which will have to be authorized by the Chief of Staff at the Office of the President. All public officials are to remain within the jurisdiction until further notice. Video conferencing facilities and other technological tools are to be utilized whenever possible for international engagements. I've also instructed further enhancements of the protocols for inbound traffic from already affected countries. Fellow Ghanaians, all of us should, as much as possible, desist from all foreign travels, except the most critical ones, until there's a grip on the virus.
Nana Akufo-Addo there, the Ghanaian president, talking about what his country is doing. Of course, he's the president of that country. Now, let's juxtapose it with the Nigerian language at this time. Listen to Zainab Ahmed, the Nigerian Minister of Finance.
Discuss with him on the matter of the impact of the coronavirus on our economy. Mr. President has formed us into a committee with the Minister of State Petroleum Resources, the Central Bank Governor, the GMD and MPC and myself as members. Our mandate is to make a very quick assessment of the impact of this coronavirus on the economy, especially as it affects the crude oil price. We will be writing a report and brief Mr. President tomorrow or Wednesday morning, and after that we'll also...
So, Nigeria is talking about the impact of coronavirus on our economy, whereas Ghana is talking about how to forestall a possible spread. Ghana and Nigeria are neighboring countries, two different languages at this time. Whilst one is looking at how it can curb the possible spread of this virus in our country, Nigeria, the giant of Africa, maybe because the country is the largest economy on the continent at this time, is talking about how to mitigate the impact of this particular infectious disease on our economy. But let me quickly inform you that Abuja doctors have begun strike as federal government announces new coronavirus case. Now, Lagos State Commissioner for Health has told Nigerians that the Italian that brought this disease into this country first still remain contagious. So where do we go from here? I have an expert with me in the studio this afternoon. He's a medical doctor, Dr. Adeleye Babarinsa. Thank you so much for joining me on Impact Point. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Now, when you look at all of this, now, Mamora is a doctor. Osage Hanire is a medical doctor. Now, what they are saying is that Nigeria will not stop visitors from all this country, unlike what other countries of the world are doing at this time. Now, is there any justification? You are a medical practitioner. Is there any justification for this particular move at this time?
Well, obviously, not just because they're my colleagues, but because it's just every decision has to be made based on facts. We are professionals. We are not supposed to make decisions based on sensational news and all that. There are two things to look at, two angles to look at this from here. First is from the World Health Organization, which is responsible for managing the health of the world globally. And the second aspect is from countries making their own decision whether to ban people from moving across the border or not. The WHO has said it categorically that it's not necessary to actually restrict movement across country, actually close the border to countries where this infection is, because that might actually amount to stigmatization, and it can also affect economies of certain countries. But of course, what is encouraged and allowed is probably restriction. Okay, so several countries, although not, well, I won't say too many, but quite a number of countries, especially in Africa, have restricted movement from European countries and some Asian countries and all that. But I believe that Nigeria it's probably not making that decision because number one, we are following the WHO strict guidelines that it's not necessary to have a border closure.
Well, the same WHO
Yes.
has come out to say that countries of the world are not doing enough. You know, as at the time the World Health Organization made this statement,
Yes.
you will agree with me that the situation has changed. Perhaps at that time, it took World Health Organization some time to declare it as a pandemic.
Yes.
So we're talking of coronavirus as a pandemic as at now.
No, we must really understand that closing the border will cause some impact on our economy. Of course, you know that
Should we
Nigeria.
be talking about economy at this time, or we should be talking about safety of lives?
Both of them, because really, for now, we just have a few cases, and if we close, we must look at the benefits and the challenges of closing the border. Because if we close the border and we can't import required materials, and we also cannot export materials that will help us to grow as a nation, then that's a big problem. And that's why the economy, the Minister of Finance, the CBN governor also are meeting to look at that. But what I will call that a more aggressive way of stopping the virus. What WHO instructed is that there should be intensive checks at the airports, intensive screening. So if we can curb it at the airport, then we reduce the chances of it getting transmitted.
So when you hear the likes of Ajayi Borofis giving an account of what transpired at the airport, coupled with the fact that this news case, according to the Lagos State Commissioner for Health, came through airways, through the British Airways precisely. So you begin to wonder, are we really screening the way we ought to screen? The Italian came in. Now you have a Nigerian who had been abroad, importing this disease into the country at this time. What is going on at our airports?
As regards that, it's not a good news because that's one of the challenges we at times have in Nigeria. What we have on paper may be different from what is happening in real sense of it. On paper, Nigeria has enough test kits, and everyone coming to the country is screened. So I think
that's on paper.
That's on paper. So I think that issue should obviously be well investigated, and if there are people that need to be prosecuted, that should be done because that's not too good. Because we can't afford an epidemic of coronavirus or COVID-19 in our nation.
But the truth of the matter is this: do you think that with the stand of things now, can Nigerians still entrust their health into the hands of the government? Or it's got to a stage where Nigerians will just want to self-protect themselves health-wise here?
Well, everywhere in the world, people have to protect themselves. But the government also has a large part to play because there's an extent or a limit to how much people can protect itself. So I think the government doesn't just need to do the right thing. They need to show us that you are doing the right thing. And that's why I'm expecting that very soon we'll have a press release from the Minister of Health and probably the CDC DG to tell us what exactly is happening about screening of people at our airports, because we have to protect the nation as much as possible.
And some persons are also worried. I just played the insert of Nana Akufo-Addo, the Ghanaian president, briefing, and I tell you, it's the second time, he will be briefing his country people about what his government is doing. I think it was on the 14th of March, he briefed them, and just on Sunday, the 15th day of March, he briefed them again. And some persons are wondering that, what are we really doing? Who is talking to Nigerians on these particular issues? These and many more are things bothering Nigerians at this time. Is it necessary for Mr. President to speak up on this issue? You have Mamora, speaking up. You have Ehanire speaking up. Isn't that enough?
Well, obviously, the president is not supposed to be silent on this issue because if you follow the trend,
president ought not to be silent.
Yes, if you follow the trend in most parts of the world, actually, most of the presidents are actually involved, and I think it's just okay to at least give a brief on what the government is doing because I think this is even a good opportunity to actually score a political point. I like what happened in Lagos State. The governor spoke about it. The deputy governor addressed the public. Everybody is talking because that shows that you're doing something proactive. But the moment we keep silent, then you allow people to begin to share all kinds of fiction and suspicion and all that. For example, immediately the government should have talked about what happened, whether they are screening people at the airport or not, so that would dissolve whatever false information might be going around. That's if it's false.
How prepared, as a medical practitioner, how prepared do you think Nigeria is? Now, there is this upsurge in reported cases. Who knows what will happen between now and next week, between now and next month? Are we really prepared for this? And as a medical expert, some persons are saying because of the tropical nature of our environment, this particular disease will not survive and all of that. But one will be taken aback, one will be surprised when you hear Lagos State Commissioner still say that the Italian that brought the first index case into the country is still contagious, meaning when you come in contact with him, you are likely to contract this disease and all that. How prepared are we?
Well, obviously, from what we have seen from the response of the CDC, the Center of Disease Control, a lot is being done to prevent the disease from coming into the country by ensuring that people are well screened at the airport and ensuring that all the contacts of those that were detected to be positive are being traced. You see, but the challenge, and this is why we must also intensify work on prevention, is because obviously we know that our healthcare systems, especially the primary healthcare systems, are not that solid as you expect. And that's why some people are saying that the low number of cases in Africa may not be all connected to the fact that we don't have good, excellent primary healthcare systems that can easily detect positive cases in the community. So we should not get carried away and create theories about weather and all that. It's just best for us to be safe as much as possible, and we should use the opportunity to build our healthcare system so that we can protect ourselves against further outbreaks too.
And you have medical doctors embarking on strike at this time, and some Nigerians who say that, okay, this is the time that medical doctors, actually cashing on to press on their demands and to make some statements, because it appears the only language, industrial language, the government understands is strike.
Well, you must understand that it takes a lot to practice medicine in this country.
But is this the best time to go on strike?
Well, I'm sure they will have their demands, and I'm sure that most likely it is not. It has probably happened before this Ebola crisis, before this COVID-19 crisis. So if they have legitimate reasons for going on strike, now ASU is on strike, ASU is on strike. I mean, several bodies are on strike.
But safety first. The hypocritical oath that medical doctors swear to, we'll talk about the protection of lives before any other thing.
But it's someone that is living that can save others. It's someone that is surviving that can save others. So I think there must be a balance to it. And I'm sure that even during strikes, I'm sure there are skeletal services in the hospitals. But it's just that, you see, many times this strike is in the interest of the government, and most times we don't understand it, because you see,
it's in the interest of the government.
Yes,
that's what Nigerians get to hear.
Because if professionals keep leaving this country because of the state of the healthcare system, and we just have nothing left. So it's even at times better when professionals protest and say, look, let the system work so that we can all benefit.
Why the people die?
Well, I'm sure that, well, at least spending when the strike is on, there's alternative. It's just that at that time things may become a little bit difficult.
So on this issue of coronavirus, the way the federal government, with a verdict that it's not going to, stop visitors coming from these high-risk countries, you think the government is on track?
Well, I'm not an economist, but I'm a physician, and we follow
medically here.
Yeah,
we're even talking about the economic aspect.
Medically, closing the border might be too strict.
Our borders are closed. We're talking about the air border.
I mean closing the air border. I mean people from
airports.
Yes, it might be too strict, stopping people from coming from these countries, because number one, we just have few cases, and what makes us sure that exactly will be stopping a good number of cases?
So we need to wait as a country till we have increments in the number.
What we should do is to intensify what WHO has said, that let's control and ensure everyone coming to the country is screened. But we have to. One thing we can be sure is that closing entry to immigrants may actually have some severe economic downturn to the society. So I think it's not something we need to rush about. And I'm sure that's the same reason why they are calling that meeting, to consider the benefits because you must understand that, I mean, even we're already looking at the fact that crude oil, the amount of money coming from crude oil is already reducing. So we don't want the situation whereby things will become harsh economically for the country. So we don't just have to copy other countries because we don't understand how their economy operates.
And
Yes.
some Nigerians will ask you, has it really been better? Has it really improved? That's the question some persons will ask you. Okay, before we move on now to the next segment on the program this afternoon, let me open the phone lines in case you have one or two questions or observation to make on the program. 0815 192 5925, 0812 102 4846. These are the numbers to call to be part of the program. And of course, you can send a text message to 0905 221 3356, 0905 221 3356. On the program this afternoon, we're looking at the issue of coronavirus. Now, according to eight 46, let's get to hear from you. Hello, good afternoon. John, good afternoon, welcome.
We are not worthy to be there at all. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, John Olaruwaju, for your time on the program. And maybe I pick one more call, 0815 192 5925, 0812 102 4846. What's your own take on federal government's decision of not stopping visitors from high-risk countries into Nigeria as coronavirus spread? Okay, thank you so much for your time. Dr. Babarinsa, Nigerians are still worried that in case of the spread of this virus, what is it that will happen, to Nigerians? The government would only perhaps console. Take for instance those that died in Lagos State as a result of the explosion. People die on the road on daily basis. No one is talking about anything. No one is asking, the necessary or relevant question. And so if people die, Ebola virus, took some lives, especially that medical doctor, Stella Adadevo. It took some persons to impress it on the government to do the needful in terms of immortalizing her and all that. What's your advice to Nigerians at this time?
Well, what I would advise is that first we need to take responsibility for ourselves and to make sure that we do everything possible to prevent ourselves from contacting or spreading this virus. I think we won't have much time to explain the things to do, which includes hand washing, protecting yourself when you cough or when you sneeze, avoiding contact with people that may be infected, notifying early and all that. But another thing I want to challenge the Nigerians is that let's take responsibility also for our communities. I mean, I'm happy with what you're doing. I mean, talking about what is happening. I'm sure that some governments, people in the government are listening, and I'm sure that, who knows, maybe the president may even get to hear about this and make sure it. So we need to speak out. We need to advocate for change, and we also need to just hope and also trust God. I believe Nigerians don't trust our government, so we don't trust whatever decision they make. But we also need to understand that making decisions as a government is usually not always easy. So let's also pray that our government does the right thing.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Hello, go ahead. Can hear you. All right, thank you so much for your time on the program this afternoon. You asked Steve. Steve says the world is on lockdown, even Ghana that is close by. So why is Nigeria using strong aid in America? Their earth system is already overwhelmed. The airport should be on lockdown. That's the submission of Steve. But as we wrap up this segment, the facts on ground is that another case of the novel coronavirus disease has been confirmed in Lagos State, Nigeria. Dr. Babarinsa, I must say a big thank you to you for coming on Impact Point this afternoon. Thank you so much for your time.
It's a privilege.
Okay, we'll quickly go on a short commercial break. When we'll come back, it will be time for us to look at the crisis rocking the APC. Stay with us. Thank you so much, Doctor.
SS1 and SS1 classes for 2020 and 2021 academic session at Adeleye Academy, Wakajaye Iyano Church Road, Ibadan, Oyo State is in progress. The entrance examination is scheduled to hold as follows. Date: Saturday 18th April 2020 and Saturday 9th May 2020. Venue is Adeleye Academy, Wakajaye Iyano Church, Ibadan, and time is 10 a.m. prompt. Admission form is obtainable at the school premises or Impact Business Radio, Impact House, Kolabo Ishola Estate, Iyano Church Road, General Gas, Akobo Ibadan. Adeleye Academy is blessed with suitable teaching and learning facilities such as decent hostel facilities, computer laboratory with internet facilities, spacious buses, e-learning gadgets, seasoned teachers, science laboratories, and music studio. For further inquiries and to download the admission form, please visit the school website at www.adelayoacademy.org or call 0805 947 9449, 0706 091 0776, 0810 965 2215 or 0805 527 5583. Adeleye Academy, developing character, competence, and confidence.
Welcome back, everyone. The program is Impact Point on Impact Business Radio, IBR 92.5 FM, Ibadan. On this segment, we want to look at the crisis that is rocking the All Progressives Congress. Just yesterday, a court affirmed the fact that Oshiomhole stands suspended in the APC. Another court affirmed his chairmanship of that political party. And so it was said that Oshiomhole, the suspended national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, conveyed the National Working Committee. And according to report, Victor Gedem, Ajimobi, Abdulkadir, others have arrived APC Secretariat in Abuja for the National Working Committee of the party, for the National Working Committee meeting of that political party. But yesterday, APC governors met President Muhammadu Buhari, and after that meeting with the president, Atiku Bagudu, who is the chairman of the Progressives Governors Forum, briefed State House correspondent. Listen to him. Atiku Bagudu there, the chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum, who is also the governor of Kebbi State. I have an APC chieftain with me in the studio this afternoon. He is Mr. Fatai Adeshokon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for your time on the program. Now, before we go ahead, something happened at the court yesterday, and I want us to listen to what played out yesterday. Yes. Yeah. Yes, alligator.
Well, you have to appreciate that this is not something I have control over. We have approached the court, and the court has said we should wait, and we have to wait. That's it.
Osita Okechukwu is an APC chieftain. He is not happy with Oshiomhole.
We unanimously and consensually elected Comrade Adams Oshiomhole as national chairman of the APC 2 years ago. And since then, going through our scorecard, what he has succeeded in doing is to revive and resurrect the People's Democratic Party, a party that was then almost collapsing. The outcome is that we lost valuable governorship seats in Adamawa, in Bauchi, in Zamfara, in Sokoto State, and these were our strongholds. And we lost valuable seats in other states of the Federation because of the mismanagement of the primaries.
Musa Alechin supports Oshiomhole.
Response to Osita Okechukwu's claim. Today, all of us across the breadth and length of Nigeria, we came here in solidarity with the national chairman of APC, Comrade Adams Oshiomhole. And to our greater dismay, this morning, when the first panel sat, they said the second panel are the ones having the responsibility with the Adams Oshiomole's case. But to our greatest surprisation, they came back to tell us that a date will be communicated.
Well,
so
we hear that people have said that the president Muhammadu Buhari is abandoning Adams Oshomole. He should have intervened before this time.
It's not true. He's not abandoning Adams Oshomole.
Abubakar Umaru is APC chair in Sako West, Edo State. Oshomole's word. He says Oshomole's suspension was fabricated.
I'm the person controlling that ward, Ward 10. Because I'm from Ward 5. I'm the local government party chairman, Alhaji Abubakar Umaru Akoki. I find out in everywhere. The Philip Shaibu, the deputy governor, used those several persons to write a letter to where they want to write it to. Can several persons or 9 persons suspend 80 persons in a ward? You know it's not done. But there is something behind it. They want to destroy the government of Muhammad Buhari. I'm using this media to advise Muhammad Buhari to stand and to defend the country. Otherwise, they are trying to finish the entire country.
Analysts have said, unless President Buhari takes urgent steps to save the national chair who led his election victory, then it is perhaps end of the road for Adams in leading.
A report compiled by our Senate correspondent there, Uram Lokodi. But before we go on, there's a breaking news that the Senate has asked the federal government to ban travel from countries with high risk of coronavirus. Okay, that's a breaking news coming from the Red Chamber there. And of course, Mr. Stephen Oyedele says if European countries like Germany could close its borders, I see no reason why Nigeria could not do so. Prevention is better than cure. Oyedele Stephen, thank you so much. Okay, so Mr. Fatai Adeshokon, one does not even understand what's going on in the APC any longer.
Thank you so much. Nothing is ambiguous about what is happening in APC. The reality is in any political party like ours, there will be contending forces, caucuses and what have you. Let me clear an impression in one of the reports that we have one substantive national chairman of our party in the person of Adams Ali Oshiomhole.
Who is Victor Giadon?
Victor Giadon is the deputy national secretary of our party.
Deputy national, not acting national secretary.
He is deputy national secretary. I'm trying to clear a picture to you. You see, in the ESCOs in 2018, I was at the national convention in Abuja at the Eagle Square as a member of our party, and I witnessed all what happened. The stakeholders of the party unanimously submitted some names for ratifications. Rotimi Amechi of Rivers State, he was the one that sponsored Victor Giadon at that time to become Deputy National Secretary. Thereafter, the Rotimi Amechi, Governor Rufai, Senator Ibikunle Amosun, Atiku Bagudu of recent caucus of the APC chose to boot out Adams Ali Oshiomhole, not in the interest of the party, but in the interest of the 2023 election virus infected on them already. And in all of this, you'll be able to situate that. Coming on board a while ago, former governor of Oyo State, erudite and cerebral former governor Ajimobi, he has been inaugurated and took oath of office as deputy.
When?
Few hours ago, I have the pictures with me. My brother is sending it to me live from the APC National Secretariat. Comrade Bolaji Afis Rekwete. This will be the former governor, a cerebral governor, who has actually shown brilliance and courage while as governor of Oyo State. Be it as it may, congratulations to former governor of Oyo State. It tells you more about.
In spite of the court judgment.
No, the court judgment has been vacated.
Here, not there.
To you. What is on ground is an appellate court are so rude that Adams Oshiomhole remains the authentic national chairman of the party. The FCT, people are there conflicting messages. It was State High Court, FCT High Court in Abuja, that the purported judgment obtained by National Vice Chairman Northeast of the party, Saliu Mustafa, orchestrated by Godwin Obaseki-led faction of Edo APC, propounded underneath by El-Rufai's Ibikula Amosuns, the Akeredolus, and the Fayemi.
So these are the ones that want Oshiomhole out.
Of course, you can quote me anywhere.
Please come up with their names again.
Is Ibikula Amosun, Senator Ibikula Amosun.
Ibikula Amosun.
Let me mention the arrowhead.
Okay.
Senator Ibikula Amosun co-joined with El-Rufai and Bagudu of recent. The followers in that caucus are Kayode Fayemi, Akeredolu, and the likes.
For what reason?
Because
are they against Oshiomhole?
They wanted Oshiomhole out of that party.
Why?
Because of 2023.
These are governors.
Of course. Fayemi is launching ambition or president ambition. Comes 2023.
But Fayemi has come out to debunk that rumor.
I'm a politician. You are a journalist.
He wants to be the president.
I'm a politician.
But he's a serving governor.
I'm a politician.
Who's Tinio?
If you ask me now, Adeshoko, what is your ambition? Comes 2023, I will tell you I'm not even having any ambition. Alas, inside me, I have ambition to even become president of Nigeria.
Does Tinubu, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, does he have an ambition?
It's never a crime for an Asiwaju Bola Tinubu to have an ambition.
And he was talking about the virus, the 2023 virus.
Of course, for them not to have allowed the incumbent president to have spent out his term at least to the third year of his tenure.
So why was he talking about the fact that there's a virus, 2023 virus,
he has
deep into the fabrics of
he has his own ambition,
okay,
and he has not gone to the national secretary of the party.
So his ambition is not tearing the APC apart.
Not at all. He has not come out to say he wanted to run.
He's the arrowhead. He's one of those who wants Ajimobi, even against the wish of some person.
Not he
to
wants
be a member of
Ajimobi.
the National Working Committee.
Let me clear that to you. Not personal wish of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. In our party APC, there is nowhere written in our constitution, articles and what have you, that office of the Deputy National Chairman South is an exclusive right of Ekiti State chapter of our party. That is the contending force. When it was in the wisdom of the political actors, the BC Akondes, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, former national vice of our party, Pius Akinyeluwe, that Ekiti State at that particular point in time, we are not having anybody at the state level.
Is there crisis in the APC as of now?
Not pronounced crisis. There are issues in APC.
There are issues.
Yes.
Oh, you don't want to call it crisis.
When you have crisis, that is when it has degenerated to an extent that some are decamping and some are leaving.
Has it not degenerated?
No. We are having issues. The both camps. I belong to Asiwaju Bola Tinubu caucus. We are all struggling for the soul of the party. That tells you more something interesting about the party.
Politics is about interest. You are struggling for 2023. It's obvious when you talk of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu.
In your own perception,
it's not about me.
I'm a political actor.
Okay.
I am in the system.
And one of the scripts you act out is to tell not the truth.
Of course, not me. I have my names. I have my character. I'm a family man, and I'm a young man. And at this juncture of my life, I will not trade off my family background.
Mr. Fatai Adeshokon,
I was not sent to school by Asiwaju Bola Tinubu.
The fact I'm making
Fayemi did not send me to university.
The fact I'm making
my parents did.
Okay.
And I'm married. So the point I'm letting you out is that the contending forces, don't forget that Kayode Fayemi belongs to the caucus of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu until recently. Of course.
Okay. So
ambition.
Things are falling apart.
In political settings, any political sphere, things will definitely at point in time fall apart.
So where is Amosun Ibikula Amosun in all of these?
You remember in 2019, Amosun was struggling to have his anointed candidate to be APC gubernatorial candidate, and Adams Oshiomhole National Working Committee insisted that he was not elected as national chairman to come and protect dynasty. We saw what happened in Imo State when a sitting governor at that particular time bringing on board his son-in-law. Are we jinx in this country? The same Osita Okechukwu, he doesn't know what
you heard him.
Osita Okechukwu is either he's drunk or over drunk.
Why?
Because you cannot say what you don't know. Osita Okechukwu he's talking about Zamfara. Oshiomhole is not from Zamfara.
Osita Okechukwu, this same man that you are talking about, is a possible candidate for the spokesmanship position of your party.
In what? When? We have Larry Onilu.
He is one of the vocal members of your political party.
I will tell you the antecedents of Osita Okechukwu.
Time may not permit us. Is it right for APC to have a suspended member of the party as the national chairman?
Who is a suspended member of our party?
Is Oshiomhole not suspended?
I'm telling you, it's a matter of law. as at when the purported judgment was actually obtained from the High Court, we are personalities that believe in rule of law. Oshiomhole actually stayed away from National Secretariat until the Appellate Court yesterday set it as at 5 p.m. yesterday in Abuja.
Where is President Muhammad Buhari in all of this?
You see, Mr. President, in his capacity as the president, is actually interested in doing the right thing at the right time.
But some members of your party believe that the president is not doing enough. He doesn't appear interested in whichever, the pendulum swing in this case.
In political situations like this, a father of the nation or of his party needs to be very conscious.
Until things get spoiled.
Nothing has gotten spoiled. Oshiomhole has retrieved his mandate. His Excellency, former governor of Oyo State, Governor Ajimobi, he has took oath of office. Bulama has been ratified, and the auditor as well. What we are saying in all of this, that what happened in Zamfara, what happened in Imo, what happened in Rivers, it was not the handiwork of Oshiomhole. He was never a member of Zamfara State. Don't forget, Oshiomhole is state in this country. We are talking about Edo State, with the Benin constituting over 52%. And if an Oshiomhole would have actually won election back to back in that state, defeating the almighty Leto Nianini, Samuel Gumudia, and the likes, Osumbo was the candidate of the PDP at that time before it was rigged. Morizu shambled election. If you are talking about persons or caliber of people that fit in to be our national chairman, is Adams Ali Oshiomhole. And if you are having a deputy national chairman south in a person of Cerebral Ajimobi, anybody can lose election. For the fact that Ajimobi lost election in Oyo State, that has not redeemed his personality. The almighty in quotes, Bola Ige, former governor of Oyo State, in old Oyo State, lost election in this state. That does not mean Bola Ige did not perform as governor. In traditional state like Oyo State, performance of a governor is not yardstick, exclusive right yardstick for the governor to win or not to win an election.
The APC is polarized presently. You just talked about the fact that
APC is not polarized. APC is having issues. It's when I talk about polarization, okay, that means segment of the party, like we had in Oyo State when we had Unity Forum, and they actually defected.
Did your party benefit from that arrangement at the end of the day? The end result was that the APC lost Oyo State because of this, and now that is what is happening.
I'm so happy that you are a journalist. You've done your research. That APC lost election because of
the polarization
in the party. That tells you more that the incumbent government of the PDP in Oyo State never won election on the platform of their popularity.
Is that what you're saying?
Of course.
Are you not worried?
Of course.
Look at it now. Before that election,
yes,
you talk of the Asiwaju Bola Tinubu's, political school of thought, as the case may be. But that's cool. He's been depopulated presently.
No.
Isn't that the case? You have Fayemi pulling out, you have Amosu pulling out, you have this heavyweights pulling out.
I will give
and
you,
the PDP. They're still on that in Ondo State, and yet we're talking about the fact that the APC is not, on fire.
No, that's not fire. We are politicians. All these things that you journalists are saying.
Politicians, you find it difficult
to
admit defeat.
It's not a matter of admittance. It's our job. It's our trade. and all these things you guys see as issues and what have you.
Oh,
I can come on
they
air
are
today.
not issue.
Funny
Okay.
enough, I can be with Senator Ibikola Amosu tomorrow morning and be whining and dining. So that's
about interest. But
so
we're talking
what we are
about
telling you that Fayemi himself knew upright. His tenure lapse as governor of Ekiti State comes 2022.
Look at these forces you've talked about.
Yes.
Now there was a caucus meeting, South APC caucus meeting.
Yes.
In Edo State. Governor Obaseki was there. Rotimi Amechi was there. Many of these people, the ministers, you know, what they were all there. Now you come down to the South.
The recognized stakeholders in South. Let me bring it out to you. You see, some people, it is media creations that Obaseki will actually preside over. And Obaseki is not an authority when it comes to South. It's absolutely nothing.
There are predictions that
the same thing applies now. The same thing applies now.
Okay.
In Southwest APC, in any caucus gathering or any resolution or communique that Ajimobi is not part of, as I speak to you, is dead on arrival.
And now that he's a member of the National Working Committee,
not ordinary member,
perhaps it will be time to deal with some persons, right?
No, Ajimobi is not a vindictive person. You evidently was when he lost election.
You know, one of the reasons why
Ajimobi is not
don't want to give him their support.
Ajimobi is not vindictive. It is those shenanigans being played by.
They believe that power.
I am from Shaki.